Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
I hear
to
it on
Sippin
the
and
headphones.
Selling.
With Joey Chanel.
Welcome back to another episode of Sippin and Selling. Today I'm in studio with my dear friend Buzzy Sklar from Oishii Sake Spritz. Welcome to the show.
Joey, it is so great to be here. I know people always say I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thank you, Buzzy.
It's going to be tough to top Dad's episode.
I mean, he's
That's a legend right there. So just being in the same seat as him is pretty cool.
that's so nice. And listen, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You've been an industry vet also. I think that your ass belongs in the chair as well as Joe's. I think that it's fine. Don't knock yourself down a few pegs.
I'm not knocking myself down. I'm just putting him on a pedestal.
I love that. You're so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go see your dad after today, aren't you?
I am actually up here in Boca, so I'm going to go visit my dad after this and have a little dinner with him. And, as you know, family's everything.
Family's everything. Super important.
Yep, it really is.
That's good.
Like you also lost my mom, so we got to take care of our dads.
Got to take care of our dads. What's your dad's name?
Robert, but everyone calls him Bob.
All right. Well, Bob, you're going to see this episode and you're going to be proud of your son because he's killing it. I've been following your story and I met you probably, 15, 16 years ago?
I remember you were out slinging booze and I was out slinging booze, and I think we ran into each other at, it might have been Monty's.
It was Monty's. You're correct. Good memory.
Yeah, I didn't kill that many brain cells.
You didn't.
Booze place.
And I always refer to you when I'm on episodes and I talk about how nobody was working. I had just relocated from New York and I only saw Buzzy and Mr. Tito's walking around, dragging our samples around. And that was wacky.
And I still do it today.
I know.
I mean, that's really what this business is about. I know we'll get into it, in a little bit, but I mean, if you're not out there hustling and grinding, you're never going to make it. No one's going to come knock on our door and go, wow, you've got the greatest product ever.
Never.
I want to put it in all my stores or in all my restaurants. So if you're not out there doing what we grew up learning how to do, then you'll never have a shot.
I agree. I always talk about how nobody's going to sell your product like you sell your product. And like we're talking about, we ran into each other on the beach, pushing some booze. But what did you do? You're from New York originally too. How did you get into the liquor industry?
That's a great question. Originally, kid from Brooklyn, streets of Brooklyn, Lincoln High School in the middle of Coney Island, and had a place down on South Beach when South Beach was really fun. And sold my business in New York and moved down here. And I actually started on the other side of the bar. I owned restaurants and bars and clubs and loved it. And then South Beach just wasn't the same anymore. Sold all my spots. And I had some, pretty fun spots. I had Automatic Slims, I had Burger and Beer Joint, some names that people still know to this day. And I always loved hospitality. As you know, when it's in your blood, it's tough to do anything else. And had this idea one day to come out with literally the first mango liqueur that was out in the market, and built a brand and opened up the first distillery in Miami. And then I got out of that company in September of 23 and, took a whole month off. My wife said, get the hell out of the house, get away. You're not hanging around here. And had an idea to open up the company that we're going to talk about today.
Yes. So Buzzy and I have known each other a long time. We've always crossed paths. We always wanted to work together, but you were slinging mango liqueur and I was slinging passion fruit liqueur. And so we never were able to really join forces until now. So now you have Oishii Sake Spritz and you also have a regular sake, but we'll get into my brand that I sell with you first. So Oishii Sake Spritz is the first of its kind. It's a low-ABV sake spritz, all different flavor profiles. But I think we have to start from the beginning for people listening who don't know what sake is. There's a labor of love that goes into is it called milling of the rice?
Milling, but the proper term is actually polishing.
Oh, okay. So polishing like the teeth.
Yes.
Okay. So let's break it down layman's terms. What is in sake?
I'm going to give you sake 101.
Let's do it.
Why I got into sake.
Yeah.
As I'm getting a little bit older, I'm starting to really care what I put in my body. And after doing some research and wanting to get back into the booze business, I realized sake was the healthiest booze you could drink.
Okay.
It's only 4 all-natural ingredients, water, rice, koji, and yeast. And everyone calls it a rice wine. But most people's introduction to sake are going to the local Japanese restaurant and drinking really crappy hot sake or doing sake bombs.
Right.
But sake happens to be a beautiful product. If you're buying a good sake and you're chilling it and you're drinking it more like a wine or using it to make low ABV cocktails. So just that light bulb went off and I said, all right, I'm going to get into the sake business. And instead of importing it from Japan, which I'm glad I didn't with tariffs and everything.
No kidding.
We actually make it here in the United States. So we're one of the only American-made sakes, which means when you're drinking our sake, you're getting the freshest sake you could drink because we're not putting it on a boat and bringing it over from Japan and it hanging out and all that. So we started with just our regular sake, like you said. We do a clear and a cloudy sake, and it did really well. We're in some amazing accounts where we're their number one sake, like a Makoto and Bell Harbor Shops.
Amazing.
We're great account for us. And then I sort of had that aha moment about 6 months into it when I saw RTDs, which ready to drink.
Yep.
People that don't know what RTD means, which is basically cocktails in a can. And I'm like, wow, no one's ever done an all-natural canned cocktail. With sake being an all-natural base, I'm like, wow, let me try and figure this out. And then I got super lucky. I was able to, I'll actually hold it up to the camera.
Hold it up to the camera.
I did a nice little deal with In the Raw using their 0-calorie monk fruit sweetener, and they even allowed us to use their logo on the can.
Major.
So right away,
major.
It gave us incredible credibility in the marketplace. We did all natural flavors, and we used sake as the base, and we just call it an Oishii Spritz because spritzes were on fire, and RTDs were on fire. So basically combined everything and made it all natural and really started to play the wellness angle, which in today's world is tremendous. Everyone wants something that's better for you. And we actually have the Better For You cocktail. It's right there on the can. And it's just been doing phenomenal. A lot of your help, involved in that, finally being able to work together, which is amazing.
So fun.
And we're just really excited. We've got incredible placements for everywhere from, fleet-wide on Carnival Cruise Line. We have Whole Foods coming up, which is super exciting.
Whole Foods is going to be launching. We are going to have a nice program going in June, so look out for us.
Yeah, but we'll be in there in April.
Yes, we will.
Don't wait till June.
Don't wait till June. Buzzy's like, Joey, stop that. Get them shopping. Pre-orders, everybody. Yeah. Start writing letters to Whole Foods.
There you go. If it's not in your Whole Foods, go in and ask for it.
That's right. So
and we want to do some exciting flavors, too, because, there are some RTDs out there that there's no way we could compete in fruit punch.
Right.
I mean, you have these monster brands owned by monster companies. So we sort of stuck a little to our Asian roots.
What are we sipping on today?
This is my personal favorite. This is our coconut lemongrass.
It's my favorite too. I told you that.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it's super refreshing, easy to drink. I'm going to pour myself a little bit more.
I always say that it smells like I'm at the beach. It's beautiful. The nose on it is delightful. And our ingredients, which was important to Whole Foods, and hopefully soon Sprouts and all you other listeners that I know follow my page, we are non-GMO.
Non-GMO.
We are gluten-free.
Yep. No added sugar.
And our flavors are not artificial.
No.
May we say.
Everything we do is natural, which is super important to me. Because like I said, one of the reasons I got into sake is because I wanted to know what I was putting in my body. I wanted to feel good the next morning. And sake has no sulfites in it, which means no hangovers.
Right.
And that's really shouldn't, people say, oh, you can't say that, you can't say that. But the sulfites in wine, in booze, are what really give you the hangover. And sake having none of that, I've drank quite a few of these.
And you feel good?
And I woke up okay the next day. But, just getting back to the flavors, you have like mango yuzu, which has been doing phenomenal for us. Our most pedestrian flavor is probably watermelon lime.
Yeah.
And then our number one flavor, which has been doing incredible, is our lychee lemon.
Yeah.
And, so again, flavors that aren't competing with your typical things that you're going to find in the cold box at your local, supermarket.
1,000%. There's a lot that goes into Oishii that I feel stands out from a crowd. The packaging is stunning. We talked about the In the Raw deal. I mean, we're trying to get through so much because there's a lot that you thought about. And again, like you said, you started on the other side of the bar. So let's sit there for a minute. You were usually used to all the suppliers coming in and pitching you products and being like, yeah, please, we want to be on your menu and this and that. Like, what do you think that you learned when you shifted into the streets and you were selling booze that you took away from being a buyer that you noticed helped with your pitch? Because I'm sure something had to shift for you from being a buyer than a supplier.
1,000,000%. And I think because I own my own restaurants, I wore the shoes of everyone I'm speaking to. And I tell people all the time, if I can't help you sell it and we can't put things together, whether it's a menu or a cocktail or coming in and doing staff education or incentives or whatever it might be, I tell them, don't buy it from me. I don't need favors.
Right.
I really don't. You know, you can't build a business on favors. If I can't help them sell it in one way or another, I don't need it getting dusty on the back bar. So that's really the biggest lesson that I took, because we all have, you know, the rep that calls us up and goes, hey, could you do me a favor, bring in a bottle? I got to make an incentive. You know, I never want to be that brand.
Right.
I want to be the brand that we really put great programming together, whether it's off premise, like we're doing with Whole Foods, you know, being featured in June, or whether it's on premise where we go in and we do staff education and we let them know what we're about.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lost art in our business.
It is a lost art. There is a lot of favors. There's a lot of handshakes. There's a lot of broken handshakes. There's a lot of under the table deals. And like I was saying, Buzzy and I have been trying to work together for a while. As my audience knows, I'm not a RTD carrier. I don't sell a lot of RTDs. I've tried them in the past.
I remember the first thing you said to me, like, Joe, I got, you know, pretty cool product. You're like, I got to try it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we went to lunch and you got to try it and you were like, wow, it's pretty and it actually tastes good.
Yeah, because there's so many out there, like you said, and there's so many that are trying to chase the ones with the big budget, and they think because they have a gimmick or a shtick or some celebrity or whatever, it's going to move the needle. And unfortunately, as we know, with RTDs, there's a lot working against us. So I'm going to go on the flip side and say what is usually the pigeonholing with RTDs that you also are outside the box, which I'm leaning into and I'm happy about. And obviously, like you said, we've had success with it. But usually RTDs, if you're successful, it's the volume. And you've got to have the right price point. And again, like Buzzy's saying, you're going to be living on a shelf with all these competitors that have massive budget and have maybe influencers or whatever. So sake is very expensive to make. And if you use good quality ingredients, like, again, you're the pro. I don't know all the terms. But that's why it's expensive, is because of the labor of love, because the way that they polish the rice, the finer the grain gets, because you're basically wasting some of it. Yeah,
so to that point, rice polishes, let's say my fist is a grain of rice.
Okay.
The more you take off the outside, you're taking off the bad proteins and you're getting to the finer stuff on the inside, which is great. But if you take 50% of the rice off, you have to use twice as much rice to get the same yield.
Right.
We're really lucky, you know, we make our stuff in Arkansas, great water. We use the same exact aquifer as, you know, Mountain Valley water, the green bottle, same water as them. Our rice comes from a single origin farm about an hour away from our brewery. And the really cool thing is they've been growing sake rice for 50 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, so everything is, you know, really self-contained within an hour from where we are.
And authentic. Cool. And why I was going down this path is because most RTDs are sitting in the successful ones, as far as Nielsen trends say, are sitting between $15.99 and under $19.99, and we sit at $19.99. Yeah. And so sometimes people would think, we're in a new category in theory, right? Because we're better for you, and we are sake based. So what's cool for me, and was a challenge for me also, is that now all my friends at the spirits buying positions, now I have to make friends with the wine buyers, which I never sell wine. I talk about this often on the show. And so that was a fun, unique challenge, but also it warrants the price point because of the labor of love and the quality ingredients.
And we just saw this seismic shift in the soda world. You know, you could go and buy a can of Coke or Pepsi for $1.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Poppy came out, a better for you soda that was selling at 3 times the price of a Coke and Pepsi. And what did they just get bought for? $1.9 billion?
Some small number. I don't remember.
Something like that. So it just goes to show you, people are willing to pay a few dollars more for something that they know and perceive to be a better for you product.
Definitely.
So that's really our biggest lean is into that. We know who our demographic is. It's a 21 to 45-year-old woman that's wearing her Lululemon, working out during the day, but still likes to do Wine Wednesdays with the ladies, or pregame at home over a mahjong game or whatever it is. And that's who's buying our product. We're really dialed in with that demographic, and we lean into everything we do to, promote that demographic through our Instagram and everything else.
1,000%. And it is a sign of the times that Whole Foods brought us in, because before that we were in a few Total Wines, just like the one right here in Boca Raton. So pick us up if you ever want to try Oishii. And usually you have to have at least a year of Nielsen, so that I'm talking about. And I don't think I ever talked about what those are on my show, but it's basically this little tracking system for us. And it shows what scans through the register and in our categories. And then you can see what's trending. So usually a lot of these buyers in these bigger grocery stores look at that before they even give you a chance. However, Whole Foods was looking for exactly what we were in a can: better for you, cleaner ingredients, low ABV. I mean, it's female focused, which they'll never say that's what they were looking for, but we're the ones doing the shopping, guys. So come on. And they brought us in a lot of stores, a lot of markets, and we're very lucky. Almost all flavors.
Every state that we're in.
So that's a big deal for a brand. And like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. This was a challenge for me because of finding new buyers, and I'm proud to be a part of this brand's journey. We also got into Safeway.
Yeah, I mean, Albertsons, believe it or not, in the Intermountain region. I mean, as you know, I went to Boise, Idaho, and that's where we're launching with them. And now they want us in Colorado for the Intermountain region. And because of what just transpired with us over the past week, we're really going to be able to service a lot more Whole Foods and a lot more Albertsons. And I guess we could talk a little bit about that since the cat's out of the bag. But we're really excited. We're going to be partnering with Southern Glazer Wine and Spirits nationwide.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we've been able to accomplish so much in a short amount of time. We only launched a year and a half ago, and the Spritz launched in June. So it's incredible how we're fast forwarding, all these things that took me 4 or 5 years with my last company to do.
Yeah, I agree. It makes me smile, obviously, because I'm so happy, but it's such a we're one of those stories with this brand. That.
Yeah, and we've got some, fun stuff coming down the pipe too. So.
For sure. Just make sure everybody's following Oishii's handle on Instagram or Buzzy, or both of them if you're not, so you can stay in the loop with us and see what we're talking about and alluding to.
Yes.
Secret club.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll talk about it a little.
Maybe. So Buzzy, you were talking about
how many of these I have.
Okay, well, let's keep pouring. Let's keep pouring so I get the content.
Yeah, social lubricant.
So good. They go down too easy, I'm telling you.
They do, but that's why being low ABV, 6%, it's really, you could truly enjoy them.
There's no guilt involved.
Yeah, we actually own the trademark for guilt-free indulgence.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and that's really what it's about now. I mean, everyone's talking about headwinds and the businesses going down and this and that. I think if you have the right product,
you'll be okay.
You'll be okay. 100%. If I was sitting here with another celebrity tequila, I get it. Then I more than understand.
I feel you.
But if you're doing things that are different, but not different for the sake of being different. Like, I'm not coming out with a basil vodka to be in one brunch drink in a handful of places. You really have to figure out what your differentiator is and run with it.
1,000%. And you did, and you're staying authentic to your message. Can we talk a little bit about why you were trying to get a little bit more healthy, or you don't want to talk about that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
So Buzzy had a little bit of a health scare.
A little bit. It was
A big health scare.
Pretty freaking big health scare.
Yeah, and I think it's important to talk about. I know it's kind of off topic because this is Sippin and Selling and we talk about entrepreneur stories, but I think it's a part of your story. And I think for people that are
100%.
listening, like you said, majority of my audience listeners are a little bit male dominated. Thank you. So I think it's important to tell them what happened to you and just maybe, give them some warning signs and stuff like that.
100%. So it's actually on my arm. I'm not going to take off my sweatshirt on it.
You can't strip on this show.
No, that's a different
That's
podcast.
another podcast.
That's a different podcast. I think they're coming in after us.
Stripping and selling.
Yeah. So Sunday morning, October 6th, a year ago, 2024, went for my run on the beach. Came back, went to the gym, sitting in my chair, having my coffee, getting ready to put in my football bets because Sunday morning, that's what I do. And all of a sudden, it felt like my lungs were on fire. So I turned to my wife and like, babe, she goes, it's probably something you ate last night. And went, took a couple of Tums. A couple of minutes later, feels like my lungs are burning out of my chest. She goes, you want me to take you to the hospital? I'm like, no, call 911. Something's really wrong. Lo and behold, one of the police officers from Bal Harbor show up. I know him. He looks at me. He turns white. Now I know something's really wrong because I was worried because he was worried.
Right.
He goes, you okay? This and that. 2 minutes later, the EMTs walk in. Like, sir, you're having a major heart attack. But I didn't think I was having a heart attack because it's not like on TV where the arm stiffens and you hit the floor and all that.
But that's why I want you to talk about it.
So, yeah, it was just one of those freak things that happened. A blood clot got caught in my heart. One of the, I forget exactly which artery of my heart. They rushed me to the hospital. Of course, between me and the hospital is a bridge. The bridge was up.
Oh, well, of
the
course.
boats.
I mean, it
why
wouldn't be
not?
part of the movie if it was.
Exactly. They got them to put the bridge down, got me there. And, thank God I was able to sort of do everything right. And that's why I tell everyone, if you feel something's wrong, just call 911. Get an ambulance there. These guys are professionals. A lot of people will lay down, think they just have
like
indigestion,
agita,
and they don't wake up. So I had basically a massive widowmaker that I survived. So to that point, I always tried to stay in decent shape, but now I really changed my eating habits. I changed my drinking habits to drinking things that I know are, better for me. So I am, part of, I practice what I preach.
Right.
This just isn't a gimmick for me. This isn't, drink
Sales
something
pitch.
better for you.
Yeah.
It's not just a sales pitch. I am the customer also,
Right.
So it's been, a pretty incredible journey. Thank God my health is great, and, around for my kids and my wife and my business and my business partners. And, so it's, but it was scary as hell. I'm not going to lie.
I'm sure.
When you're laying there and someone tells you that if you weren't in as good a shape as you're in, we wouldn't be having this conversation, it really makes you think, holy shit, I better stay in good shape and I better eat healthy and keep exercising because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be in this chair right now.
So crazy.
Yeah.
So afterwards, did they tell you that there was maybe some routine tests that you missed or doctors missed, or this was just a freak accident?
It was, again, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or anything like that.
We love a conspiracy at Sippin and Selling.
They really think it was the COVID shot that caused the clot.
Okay.
And they saw a lot of clotting factors since that because my cholesterol is 140. My blood pressure is 120/70.
Yeah, you're good.
I had zero signs. My weight is, pretty perfect for, my height.
And you were working out.
I just came from a run.
Crazy.
Yeah. So again, just, one of those things. So definitely everyone out there, I'm going to give you one bit of advice. You're not feeling good, do something about it. Don't just blow it off because it saved my life.
Well, thanks for sharing. I know it's a personal story, but I think that it's very important, like I said, and it can happen to anybody. Any health, scare is always important to recognize, and what you learn from it, you should share with the masses. So thank you for doing that.
It's my pleasure. If I could help one person, it's one of those things, you really have to pass things along in life, and if one person just listens to this and goes, yeah, wow, I haven't been feeling great, and they do something about it,
That's what I'm saying. It's
a good
important.
thing. It's a good thing.
It's our duty, right? If you
Yeah.
go through something like that, you got to share because you
100%.
want to be a good human.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that
So
story,
again,
Buzzy.
that's what sort of got me to do better for you products.
Right. And it makes sense. You're walking the walk.
Yeah.
And the product's delicious. Like I
Thank
said, we're enjoying it. We're sipping here. And we also have the traditional and cloudy sake. So let's talk about that. It's not the ugly stepchild.
No, I mean, that's what really got us into the business. Is it something that we're now looking at ourselves not as a traditional sake company? We're really doing innovative products using sake as a base.
Okay.
That's sort of how we look at our company now. The regular sake, again, we're in some amazing accounts. We're on Carnival Cruise Lines with that also. But the hard thing about regular sake, because your typical, strip mall Japanese restaurant that's been there for 20 years, they don't order from your regular distributors.
Okay.
They'll order sake that they've been ordering for 20 years from the same guy that sells them chopsticks and soy sauce and rice and all that. So those are kind of tougher to break into.
Are they not as clean? Like, are the ingredients probably as low end as I'm assuming, or no?
Yeah, it's not the best sake you're drinking.
And with our sake, we talked about the yeast. The water is amazing. We said the rice. And then for those of you listening out there that don't know what koji is.
So koji is basically a bacteria that you sprinkle over part of the rice to help with fermentation. So see, sake is actually a brewed product.
Right.
Everyone thinks it's distilled or it's a rice wine, but
Similar to a beer.
It's made more like a beer. It really is. And unlike other RTDs on the market that could just go out and buy crappy vodka and crappy tequila and add a bunch of flavor and sugar to it, we actually have to go through the process of making our sake.
Right.
So,
it's almost like a sourdough starter is how I think about it, right? Because you have to have all those ingredients to get the fermentation going because rice doesn't have sugar, right, guys? So you have to add all those ingredients to get the sugar, which creates the alcohol. And yes, some people, not us, will then add alcohol, right, to some of their...
Some fortify it.
Yeah.
We don't do that. You'll find that in some of the typical...
The masses.
Corner Japanese restaurant product that you've never heard of.
Right.
So what we're really trying to do now, like I said, is innovate within the adult beverage space and the booze space, but using better for you ingredients and using sake as a base.
Right.
Like we did with the Spritz. And it's been really well received. I mean, I can't lie to you. You're
I'm the one peddling
You're the
it.
one helping, get the booze out there with us. But yeah, it's been a real pleasant surprise.
That's great.
It really has been. It's nice to see that people really are caring what they're putting in their bodies.
Yeah.
And they're not going sober, but they just want to know what's in their drinks now.
And they should. And I talked about this on another episode. Like, most people feel that what's happening with the alcohol industry is what happened with the beauty industry. A lot of people switch from like their Revlon and L'Oreal because there was no ingredient mentioned, and then there were clean beauty movements, and that's kind of like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's important. And yes, we do care. As you get older, you do care. When you're younger, you don't care. You're just like, put it in my cup and I'll drink whatever.
But you know what? It's even changing with that Gen Z now.
Okay.
What we're seeing is they want quality. They're not out there binge drinking like I did in my 20s.
Right.
There are nights I still don't remember. I don't know if I want to remember.
So good.
But that 20-something now doesn't mind spending a little bit more to know what they're drinking.
Right.
And so again, we're seeing that shift.
Right.
And not that we're trying to put, square pegs in round holes.
Yeah.
It's just working for us.
It is.
We just, you got to be a little lucky in any business.
1000%.
So we like to make a little of our own luck, but, that 20-something, like my older daughter, I mean, her and her friends love the product.
Yeah.
Love it.
Was she a part of the case study for flavors? Like, talk about if you included her in the journey, or was it just you and your team? What was that about?
I'm the mad scientist.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat there.
They didn't help with the logo, nothing? It's very feminine, Buzzy.
Well, I'm going to tell you a great story about the artwork.
Let's do it.
So the woman that illustrated this and all the different can art from Napa, she's one of the top illustrators out there. She did everything from the Camus bottle to Sierra Nevada. And this was her last job.
No
This
shit.
was her last illustration that she did. So I'm sort of fucked if I want to come out with
Yeah,
a
no
flavor.
kidding. What are you gonna do? Did she give you the trademark for the O and all that? Like, what are you gonna do?
Well, the O is actually, we started that with our original Oishii Sake. And it's basically, if you
floral.
look at it,
Okay.
it's sort of what a rice kernel is and then the polish on the inside of it. So that's how we got the original O. And then, yeah, she just did all the illustrations. So that's actually the lemongrass and the coconuts are on it, and each flavor has the illustration of what the flavor is. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, I'm sort of screwed if I want to do a fifth flavor. But, you know,
I'm sure people are gonna be bitching asking you for something in the future because we're here to stay. You know.
Yeah, you know, we've got, like I said, you know, a couple of great things up our sleeve. You know,
In the pipeline.
in the RTD world, we have something exciting coming out in about 60 days, and we have. I guess I'll sort of touch on it
TBD, a TBD item.
Well, I'll touch on it. So my non-compete ran out on liqueurs. You know, we both come from the liqueur world. I remember when you were out there slinging liqueurs. And Peter, our COO, comes from the liqueur world. He was ran De Serrano for the United States and De Kuyper.
Wow.
So we're sort of going to go back to our roots and do some sake-based liqueurs.
Love it. I'm ready.
And the nice thing about that is because it's sake-based, we could sell to the entire universe. You know, we could sell into grocery stores because the TTB has us categorized like a wine.
Right.
So we could go from 7-Eleven to the Four Seasons.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so we're really excited about what we have coming down the pipeline. Again, staying within our Asian world, because if we went out and just did some really crazy, funky flavor,
Yeah.
I think people would look at us a little weird. So we're going to stay within the world that we know best.
Yeah. Stick to the roots.
Yep.
How did you come up with the name?
That was probably the hardest thing I did. Like when I had JF Hayden's, it was easy right away. Mango, he was the first guy to grow a mango in South Florida. So I was able to play upon that.
Right.
I wanted a name that was, it always has to be easy to pronounce. We see it in the wine world all the time where people won't order a wine in a restaurant because they're embarrassed that they're going to mispronounce it.
Yeah, 1000%.
So, you know, some of these Italian wines that, you know, most people can't pronounce sit and get dusty because people don't want to embarrass themselves. So, I wanted a Japanese word, even though we're an American-made sake. And I wanted something that had real meaning to it.
Okay.
So Oishii actually means delicious. So anytime you're drinking our product, you're really drinking a delicious spritz, a delicious sake, a delicious liqueur. So we're, and it just worked. It's easy to pronounce. It's pretty logo.
It's a gorgeous logo. I talk about packaging and logos a lot because I say we shop with our eyes first. And you don't want your names to be too long. You don't want your name to be mispronounced. You don't want it to not land, you know, because sometimes people will, or also I love like a double letter. So like a BB and MM, whatever. But sometimes like for me, I don't want it to have you pigeonholed. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it like buzz balls. Like you're not going to see buzz balls at the Four Seasons. I'm sorry.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. But you're not.
And we're at Fontainebleau.
Right.
We're at, you know, one hotel. So these places that will not carry the Trulies and the High Noons of the world, because for them, again, good products, but for them it's a little lowbrow.
Right.
Because of the stature of their respective places. And that's where we're really fitting in as in-room items, at the pools, and because we did an elevated version of what's out there in the RTD world. Again, going back to the Poppy versus Coca-Cola thing, they did an elevated version of a soda.
Right. It's true. And like I was tapping on in the beginning of the episode, most people stick in that price point and you didn't. You were like, I'm going to be higher end because I'm luxury and it's fine. And it's fine that we're lower ABV and this is what it is. And like it or don't. And it's been working and it's great. And sometimes it sucks to be the first to do something like that. But at the end of the day, you have a hero story that it's happening. It doesn't happen to a lot of people. A lot of people, like I talked about this a little bit on a couple episodes ago. My dad had an RTD in a gorgeous package that came to him by way through the Magliocco family. And it died. It was like $21 or $22.99, 4-pack, gorgeous matte black bottle beer, RTD. But this is like 2009.
Sometimes being too early is the kiss of death.
1,000%.
You know, and I mean, I've been there. You know, I have. You know, I opened a bar in the design district called Amendment 21.
Okay.
When there was no such thing as a design district.
Right.
And it was a great bar and the locals loved it, but I was too early. That bar, 6, 7 years later, when the design district started to come about, would have been packed.
Right.
You know, so, but the difference is, I think, to your point, you have some great entrepreneurs on the show. Everyone that's come on the show, whether their brand becomes successful or not, I applaud because they had the balls to go for it.
Right.
And, you know, Gordon Ramsay's first 9 restaurants failed. You know, it's crazy.
They talk about the baseball player, Babe Ruth, right? Like he had the most strikeouts or something also.
And I'm going to I'm going to butcher his last name. Daniel Lubinsky, the guy that started the Kind Bar.
Right.
I just saw something today. He had his first 4 businesses. He wrote fail, 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 win. So if you're not willing to keep getting up to the plate, and not everything I've done has been successful. Yeah, I've had some, you know, great successes under my belt, but I probably failed just as many times.
But that's really important because, yes, the true entrepreneur spirit doesn't die, even if the product or the brand doesn't land. And if you, like you said, you keep having the balls to get up and continue, I mean, that's the allure. That's the special because people are buying you. They're buying your product. Yes, it's pretty. Yes, it's delicious. But they're buying your story and your authenticity and your hustle. Like I said, I always saw Buzzy out there. That's no bullshit. He and I were the only ones out there. I mean,
I'm still out
must have been doing something right because they're still here 18 years later for me. You know, so.
No, but again, I mean, I've hustle and grind as one of my tattoos on my arm.
Love it.
Because that's what you have to do. You got to get up every morning and put on your big boy or big girl pants and go do it.
Yeah.
And I hear all the time, oh, I just got with Southern or I just got with Breakthrough. I could go out and, you know, I'm done. I'm like, that's when you have to work harder.
I know. It's so hard. Everybody thinks that's the end.
You know, they think, oh, I just got with one of the big 3.
Yep.
I'm good. I could stop. I could slow down. I could enjoy now. No, I tell everyone that is literally when you've got to go out and bust your hump and prove it to that distributor. And then you get a few fans. You know, you get a few of the salespeople go, wow, this guy keeps calling me with orders. What the hell is this product? And next thing you know, you get 2 or 3 salespeople behind it. And then the word just gets around. And that's how you build a brand.
I agree. It's relationship based. We know this.
Yeah.
And yes, it is a challenge to be in a big distributor. Like you announced, we're going to launch nationally with Southern. And I talk about this a lot on the show. There's a great way to go to market with the smaller tier level, like a Park Street. That's a great way to start for people that either have or haven't been in the business to just get your foot in the door and build. And that's really the grind to get the roadmap of what you're going to be doing.
Right.
And then you're going to end up, like you said, having to make some friends and having to get some accounts and all of the things. And then you're going to want to open another market and you're going to have to do it all over again. So it's just repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, people don't realize there are 50 states plus the Caribbean and Canada, and you're not even really going international overseas. And if I could give anyone just a small bit of advice is own one market first.
Yes.
I mean, you know, we're not in a lot of states right now. You know, we know what we have to do. And it's really just being able to own certain markets and figuring out little loopholes to sort of, you know, get into the stores you want to get into, which is, you know, what we've discussed many times, like how do we position it to get it into the stores we want to get into? So it's, nothing is easy. No business is easy. I don't care what business you're in, whether you're a plumber, an electrician, have a clothing store, you know, none of it's easy. You got to get up every day and do what you have to do to make business happen.
You do.
And that's what we try and do every day.
You do. And to one other point about positioning. So as I was mentioning in the beginning of the episode also that, Buzzy's going into the RTD world, but because we're sake based, we could either be merchandised in the sake section. We don't have to be amongst the millions of other RTDs, which is nice. And that was something else smart. And, sometimes I know you get pissed because you're like, I don't want to be in the sake section. It's,
Well,
but
it depends. If that's how we have to get into the store,
yeah.
then that's how we have to get into the store.
True that. True that statement. Oh my gosh. So much fun with you. We're like flying by. We're almost out of time. If there's anything else you personally want to touch on, let me know. But my last question that I wanted to ask you is, do you eventually want to go to like Japan with this?
I want to go wherever they want us.
Okay.
I mean, I think our new innovation products have the ability to be like a 500,000 case brand probably in 36 months. I mean, that's how confident I am in what we're doing there. Again, being sake based, it allows that universe to be on the shelves at Publix, but again, also being served in some of the top on-premise restaurants. I think we're really going to move the needle really big with it. So super excited with that. Super excited with where we're going with the RTDs. So again, I'm not going to say, well, I want to infiltrate Japan with an American sake. I want to grow the business
where they want you
as organically as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's a great answer. I love that. Well, I want to get it into Target. That's my next hump that I'm trying to cross over. I mean, we belong in Target shelves. We're beautiful. It belongs there. And Minnesota and me just wants it to happen. So listen, Target, I'm coming for you.
And it's crazy because they actually have a whole spritz section coming up for spring. And I think they wanted better for you, original flavors, all that. And we never heard back from them. Kind of crazy.
She sips her sake.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is most people don't even know it's sake. They just think it's a good tasting spritz.
I know. And that's fine. And we're good with that. But I do want, because you are my first and only and last sake brand that will be on here, I want to educate, because that was the basis of the podcast, was to educate those out there that aren't from the industry, that want to learn a little bit about what I do and about the guests that I want to highlight. So thank you for being that voice for me, Buzzy.
And I got to tell you, I love the Sippin and Selling glassware.
You can have it. Take it home. It's yours. Thank you.
By the way, we do make good swag.
Yes, we've got good swag. Can we buy this online, or is this an invite only?
No, that's
This is just custom for me?
Special people only, Jack.
Oh, man.
But speaking of online, one advantage we do have about being regulated like a wine at the federal level, anyone could go onto our website, oishiisake.com, and you could order it straight to your house into 46 different states.
Perfect.
We're allowed to ship directly from our brewery.
I love that. And I'll make sure that Buzzy gives us a Sippin coupon code for you listening out there. Buy every flavor, try them all, and write us back and let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, we'll definitely make sure all of the listeners get to enjoy a special discount.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you for coming on Sippin and Selling. Buzzy Sklar, he's here again, like I said, guys, from Oishii Sake Spritz and Oishii Sake Cloudy and Regular.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sipping and Selling.
With Joey Chanel.